Welcome back to LTR Gaming, and I'm Troy. In this particular review, I'm going to be reviewing Outriders, and this is, of course, a true, honest review. I put over 30 hours into this game. The developer did not reach out to me and give me a free copy of this game, nor did anyone buy it for me. I bought it because I was interested in the game myself. It was a brand new IP, right? Not only was it for last gen, it is for current gen as well, but I bought it for the PS5. Came out April 1st, 2021. Listen, man, I had a lot of expectations for it because there was a lot of previews of this game. The gameplay, it showed you pretty much being able to be a badass, create a player that was pretty much a monster in the battlefield. And so I did become, but I became there along the way. I did experience some issues. Now listen, this game was published by Square Enix, but it was also developed by People Can Fly. And to be quite honest, last time that I checked, shout out to Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. People Can Fly are not used to making online shooters of this nature. This is not really their forte, but I still gave it a shot. Like I said, the visuals of the game was just beautiful, right? The environments, the background, and the cover-based system, it was very reminiscent of Gears of War. A lot of people say that immediately that's the first impression of the feel of the movement to some degree, the rolling, immediately the cover-based system, and I'm fine with that. But what made this game unique was that it awarded you for not being a defensive player. It actually penalized you for being a defensive player. See, you had to keep moving. You had to keep killing your targets to replenish your health. You couldn't just necessarily, stay behind cover and your health would just replenish itself. In other looter shooter games, this game is not like that. So it encouraged you to engage your enemy, to use your powers, your anomaly powers, no pun intended there, and to just mess things up, be that wrecking ball, be that unstoppable force. And again, like I said, you become that over time. Now, the game, like I said, had a lot of flaws, but I'm going to get into those. But this is a third-person shooter. You get no other option of view, like over the shoulder or first person. Nope. Third person, that's the only thing you're gonna get, and I was fine with that. Being able to see your player that you customize or create. Again, this is a looter shooter. As you defeat enemies, you defeat higher tier bosses, they're gonna drop loot, so you're constantly gonna be swapping out weapon and gear for better weapons and gear. You're gonna be upgrading your gear and your weaponry, changing the stacks, changing the effects, so on and etc., right? Normal looter shooter stuff, right? Online stuff. My initial playthrough of the game, I've played it by myself, meaning I played the entire story. I did not matchmake the entire story through, and I played it solo so that I can give you a true critique and honest experience of the game and the difficulty. Now, I did die several times, and I'm not going to say that I rage quit, but as you can see, if you've been watching my past streams on this channel, I believe I got up to one of the bosses, maybe the second to the last boss, and I just couldn't figure this guy out for the life of me. I mean, I spent maybe about 20 minutes just dying, because I couldn't figure out his algorithm or figure out a way to defeat him, which ultimately I did eventually. But it's a fairly decent challenge. Now, you can adjust the world tiers, right, if it's getting very difficult for you. And, of course, you won't get the epic gear or the gear that's the best if you were playing on a harder difficulty. But at the end of the day, I chose to play on a, normal difficulty. And I got pretty decent gear. So, the characters in the game, I really didn't find myself getting attached to them. But I did enjoy the campaign, because the online campaign was probably one of the best looter shooter online campaign stories that I've played up until this point. Even though it is a bit janky, it is a bit all over the place. I'm not gonna sit here in front, right? They made a hell of an attempt, better than a lot of looter shooters, and I'm not gonna throw no shade at anybody right now, but at least they try with an actual real story, right? With a real beginning, a real background. I played the demo of this game prior to it coming out, and the demo didn't start out how the actual game that was released started out, a la Destiny, right? And I appreciated that, even though I thought that they could have tightened up some of the corners as the game went along. It was just adding things that you had you scratching your head like, well, what is what and who is who? I'm not going to spoil that here. But as you progress through the game, of course, like I said, you do become a badass. I believe I was playing as the pyromancer. And that's the guy that has the ability to deal with all the fire and elements and things of that nature, which I thought was cool. And you know, like I said, the weaponry was cool. You know, you get to get different achievements from, you know, doing a certain amount of kills with different type of weaponry. You get to also upgrade the vehicle that you travel in, even though you don't get to control it. It's just an aesthetic view of a cutscene of your vehicle. So you get to see, oh, okay, well, I get to change the color of my vehicle, the pattern of my vehicle, the wheel color or the wheel design of my vehicle. And it's a cool thing to do, I think, but if I can't control the vehicle, I really don't care. But I get it. You get to make the vehicle look like it's your own in the cutscene. People can fly. You could have did better than that. But I digress. The worlds are beautiful. Not gonna front. I mean, it's some of the beautiful worlds. Now, mind you, this isn't an open world game, right? It's just large corridors that you're gonna have to fight enemies in, right? And you have a plethora of different types of enemies to fight. But the world, again, even though you cannot affect it, right, with your gunfire or anything that you do in it, it is aesthetically pleasing to be in and to be, you know, going from corridor to corridor, chamber to chamber, fighting enemies and exploring, because there is a small slight bit of exploration, you know, as you know, go to certain areas, you get to create waypoints to where you get to travel back to that particular area without having to go through the entire area again. But at the same time, it's not open world, and I kind of wish that it was a bit, because I thought, you know, that would have made the game that much different. But then again, who knows how much man hour and time and would this game would have even come out in 2021, and possibly would have been possible to play this on last gen if it would have been an entire open world experience, online service, looter shooter. Maybe not, but again, you know, they did not cut corners when it came to the aesthetics of the game and the visuals of the game. And the voice acting was horrible. Voice acting was off base. Cut scenes weren't great. This is where I get into the bad stuff I didn't like. Sorry, didn't tell you. But here we go. So yeah, you had that. Oh my gosh. Try linking up and getting on one of these servers, even just to play the story mode by itself. You still got to be linked in online, and that thing could kick you off every other 5 minutes. Now, there have been updates that I've been receiving for this particular game. People Can Fly have been updating this game with several patches and bugs and fixes and things of that nature. So I think at this particular moment, this is the most steady as of July 18, 2021, that you'll get the online service to be. But at any rate, yeah, it was a horrible experience. I didn't like it. I almost rage quit, you know, and almost threw my PS5 controller to the ground and broke it because of that. Because I'm like, well, I paid $70 for this game, and I'm like, well, why is it not allowing me to stay onto the service? My internet is legendary. What's the problem here? So again, it wasn't me, it wasn't my internet, and it probably wasn't yours either. It was the servers that People Can Fly were using. And so that was one of the biggest issues. Also, another issue was the game lagging, as if you were to go to a merchant to trade in gear or buy gear, etc. Whatever was your choice. Whenever you get to a merchant, yeah, it would lag, meaning I would go in, and before the animation would take place for me to then be able to select set items that the merchant would be selling, the game would just freeze, and the merchant would just be blinking at me, and I'm staring at the screen, blinking at the screen, blinking at the merchant, blood boiling on 12, no, more like on 20. And that kind of got annoying. That happened to me several times. Yeah, also, you know, when you're using your powers, you know, of course, you're meant to be able to use your anomaly powers in unison. There were times where the game would not allow me to do that, and I'll be literally looking at the buttons like, dude, I'm pressing L1 and it's not allowing me to use my power. And I know I have the power on the screen to use it because I have the power to use it, and it's not allowing me to do that. So there were those glitches were there. There were times where I was shooting enemies, they would disappear, and then they would reappear. I mean, these are issues that I thought would be very much so present on a online looter shooter game. Not only that, the game is able to be played on several different platforms. If you was playing this on the Xbox, I more likely than not would be able to play this on PS4, PS5, or the 360, or whatever Xbox, Microsoft console you was on, because this was cross-gen. So this is one of those cross-gen games. Of course, you got to enable that matchmaking function to be enabled to be able to play other gamers on other consoles, which I thought was great, but also at the same time, it was very clanky. I tried to use that experience with a friend of mine who was playing on the Xbox, and yeah, he had the game on the Xbox, and there's a code that you get that you're supposed to put in when you want to play with somebody on the other console, and it just would not link us, it would not let us play together. So I was very, very disappointed in that. But then again, listen, this is a game, right? I'm not tripping on it. I just expected more, but then again, why would I expect more from Square Enix? Even though they're just a publisher, they didn't really create the game. Listen, I put over 35 hours in the game, maybe 40, right? More likely than not, because I'm more like a completionist when it comes to story mode stuff. So I did all of the side quests, killed all the side creatures, did all the bounty hunts, things of that nature, before I completed the main mission, defeated the last boss. So I was kind of ahead of the curve before a lot of people, because I normally play my games backwards like that, because I like to be crazy powerful, so that when I get to the end of the game, I don't have any issue with any kind of boss or thing like that, because I pretty much are at the max level for the story. I enjoyed the game, the experience, the time, but I found myself, once I beat the game, it was like, well, what after? Right? Because then they had you just going back through playing the same levels, just in different random ways, getting different kind of chests. I'm not going to spoil the game, the ending of the game, what happened and what they have you doing at the end game of the game, because then that'll defeat the purpose if you haven't played the game. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I just feel there was a lack of things to do at the end of the story. This is an online game. Where's the DLC? Where's the persistent other options and things to do? Like Destiny, Grand Theft Auto, like they've given you so many other things to do other than just, hey, you wanna gain more stats? Well, just replay the whole thing all over again. No, you gotta give us something to work for, want to look forward to. You know what I mean? Just creating harder tiers with the same gear is not cutting it. We want new gear, we want new stories, we want new worlds. And again, this game came out April 1st, 2021. So what am I saying? It hasn't even been out a good 6-7 months yet. And I'm already feeling like y'all think I'm gonna throw People Can Fly under the bus, but I'm not. I'm just gonna say be patient. But at the end of the game, they should have had more readily available for us to play and to experience, and they have not. They have not thought of that. Now they have put out a statement stating they do got more content coming. Great, but the content's not here yet. So what does it matter to me? If you're gonna create these online looter shooter games and experience for gamers, and you want us to stick around, and it's going to be a game that you want supported for years, this game has a great base, right? And it's like making a soup, right? Your base, your stock got to be on point, right? Your soup stock is not hitting for what it's going for. It doesn't matter what the content of the soup is going to have in it. You got to have a plan, but you also got to have something readily available almost immediately after the game is released, because gamers are going to blow through that online story so quick, and you don't want to be in a position like how Destiny was for years, having gamers wait for DLC. and just tell them, y'all just go ahead and play multiplayer and just keep playing the patrols and just keep doing the same shit over and over again, and spamming in the same cave trying to get different engram colors. Yeah, I did that during Destiny when it first came out, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I was an idiot. Bungie took advantage of me. They took advantage of my loyalty, but I can't let nobody else do it again. So my thing is, I'm not saying that Outriders is that. It's not that kind of game. I'm not saying that People Can Fly is looking for that kind of experience to give us. I'm just saying, if by the end of this year, by the end of 2021, right, going into 2022, they have not expanded any DLC, any new worlds, right, any further expanding the map, any new, abilities, new enemy types. If they haven't done anything of that nature by the end of this year, yeah, then the game is not worth playing at that point, because it would have been pretty much close to a year since it's been out, and you have done nothing other than just update bugs and fixes. But if they do, I would say, yeah, right, pick this up. But as of right now, is this game worth giving a shot? Now, if you are, unfortunately, PlayStation Plus member, you won't be getting this game for free, right? We're gonna have to pony this thing up for $70 if you want it brand new, or if you buy it used, right? You're gonna get it a little cheaper than that. But if you're a Game Pass, Xbox person, Microsoft person, right? Yeah, you got this for free because this was in your Game Pass. They gave you a multi-plat game for free. I thought that was dope. So if you got Game Pass, you're not missing anything as far as money that you're gonna lose out on. Give it a shot. It's worth it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my 35 hours on evolving, creating my character, become a badass, a boss, and then experiencing everything that I experienced with the game. It was worth it. I think you'll enjoy it too. But once you complete the main story, whether you're playing online with people or playing solo, if it's by 2022 and they have not put anything towards this game, don't say I didn't tell you so. Anyway, guys, this is Game Craver, and I'm Troy. This is an honest review of Outriders. Peace.